You're back. But where's Bastila? Is she alive? What happened inside that temple? The dark side? Bastila? No! No! How could that happen?
She was always in danger of being seduced by the dark side, Karth. Bastila was strong, but she was always impatient and headstrong. Malak preyed upon her weakness. This planet is a tainted place. The Star Forge and the Temple have twisted the Force into an instrument of evil, just as Malak has twisted Bastila into a servant of the Sith. Malak has a strong hold on Bastila now. It will be difficult for her to break free of his influence, especially considering her long association with you. Remember the bond that was forged between you when she rekindled the spark that was your life. Through that bond, she touched your memories, and also the echo of the dark taint within you.
But there's still hope for her, right? I mean, Revan rejected the dark side, so Bastila could too, right? We still might be able to save her.
I don't know what fate awaits us, but I sense Bastila still has a role to play in the events to come. I have no doubt she will be waiting for us on the Star Forge.
No doubt. But let's go then before she has time to organize a bigger welcoming committee.
How may I be of What is it you would like? Of course.
Got something on your mind, do you? Not particularly. I suppose you're going to nag me until I cough it up, aren't you? Nothing is private anymore, it looks like. There's no escaping it, I guess. So be it. My wife's name was Neyama. She was the Yukatis enforcer who shot me out of the sky, if you remember. My wife had plenty to do with the war. Upon meeting her, I knew right away that she was strong in the Force. That's why she was able to shoot me down. Neyama was a marvel of a woman. Fiery, determined, smart. She dragged me to the capital and foiled 3 of my attempts to escape prison. Oh, and that body. Well, yes, that. Needless to say, I eventually won her over. That was after I kidnapped her upon being broken out of the Yukatis prison, mind you. But, that's another story entirely. At any rate, I wanted to train her in the Jedi way. The Council refused my request, naturally. I was still a Padawan at the time. I was an experienced Padawan, surely, but not yet ready to be a full Jedi, and certainly not ready to train another, especially not one so old as my wife. Neyama was intrigued by the idea of becoming a Jedi. She liked the idea of power too much, perhaps, but I certainly didn't see that at the time. I believed in her and trained her in secret. I ignored her willful nature. I loved her too much to see fault in her, and she loved me too. I know she did. At the time, our love was a shared bliss, better than anything I had known before or since. Exar Kun is what happened. Neyama was inspired by Exar's promises of a new golden age. She wanted to join him. She came to me, pleading with me to throw aside what she called the decrepit trappings of the Jedi, to join her in Exar's war. I pleaded with her to reconsider, to think about all that she was throwing away, to think about what she would become. She would have none of it. Finally, in frustration, she attacked me. She drew her lightsaber and attempted to strike me down. It was a scene being repeated everywhere throughout the galaxy. Pupil against master. In my case, it was a long and terrible battle, but I defeated her. No, I had her at my mercy, disarmed and defenseless. She looked up at me and she knew I couldn't do it. But I should have. Sometimes I convince myself otherwise, but it's no use. She had fallen to the dark side when she raised her saber against me, and I let her go. To my shame, she went on to kill many Jedi during the war, until she herself was slain in the final battle. I grieved for her death, inevitable as it was, even as the Jedi Council put me on trial for my actions once the war was over. I had trained Neyama against their wishes. I had failed to kill her when I had the chance, and she went on to kill others. Not to mention that I had remained a Padawan throughout the war. A formality, perhaps, but with the trial, it had to be decided if I was worthy to become a Jedi at all. It was a travesty, of course. I told you that even the Jedi were capable of great injustices, didn't I? But I deserve to be tried. They found me innocent, even though I deserved every punishment and more. They let me go. Mitigating circumstances, they said. I deserved compassion, they said. They said I had learned wisdom the hard way. For all I had done during the war, they wished to raise me to full Jedi status at long last. That was when the Jedi left me. That was when they failed me. For my pride? For my cowardice? Which do you think is the act more befitting a Jedi? They may have been able to forgive me. I could never forgive myself. Yes, I do, I suppose. Does that surprise you? It is all so long ago, lost in the winds, I suppose. Nobody cares what an old man believes anymore, do they? Let's continue on with the task at hand. I would prefer to think of the present today. Got something on your mind, do you? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, what do you want? Your choice.
Statement. As you desire.
Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
Hey there, what can I... Okay, have it your way.
Got something on your... Oh, I get it.
The Republic fleet must have gotten the message I sent as we were crashing into that planet. I'm picking up a transmission from them now.
This is Admiral Fawn Dodonna to the Ebon Hawk. Do you read us?
Admiral Dodonna, this is Carthanasi. We're receiving your transmission.
Karth, I'm glad to see you're still alive. We've begun our assault on the Star Forge, but we're taking heavy losses. How did the Sith ever manage to build something of this scope?
The Star Forge wasn't constructed by the Sith, Admiral. We don't have time for me to fully explain it, but that space station is far older than you can imagine.
Maybe we should pull the fleet back and retreat. I don't know if we have the firepower to go up against this alien technology.
You can't do that, Admiral. The Starforge is a factory of immense power. It's been churning out the capital ships, snub fighters, and assault droids that have powered the Sith war effort. You have to destroy the Starforge now, or you'll be fighting an unending wave of reinforcements.
Then I guess we have no choice. But it isn't going to be easy. I can't even get our capital ships into position to start bombarding the Starforge. The Sith fleet is too well organized. It's like they can guess our every move and counter our every strategy.
It's because of Bastila, Admiral. She turned to the dark side and became Malak's apprentice. We suspect she's somewhere on that space station right now, using her battle meditation against you and your fleet.
This is Master Vandor. A number of Jedi Knights have joined our fleet under his command.
If Bastila is using her power to augment the Sith, then Malak's fleet is invincible. Our only hope is to somehow stop Bastila from using her battle meditation.
How can we do that if she's on the space station?
I will send a squadron of Jedi Knights to the Starforge to find Bastila. Their small ships will be able to fly through the Sith blockade and dock on the space station. If they can find Bastila, they may be able to distract her attention from the battle overhead. That should allow you to move your capital ships into position for a final assault on the Starforge itself.
I hate to ask this after all you've done, Karth, but the Jedi may need all the help they can get.
Don't worry, Admiral. The Ebon Hawk and her crew are gonna see this through to the end.
And may the Force be with you.
Yes, what's on your mind? You got it.
How may I be of a... What is it you would like? Of course.
This looks like the end of our partnership. The battle we fight here will change the face of the galaxy. You, Revan, are the single greatest warrior of this age, and any battle we fight will bring me honor. I'll stay by your side through anything. I don't think I'm ready to give up this life of mine. This life of fighting. Not quite yet. We have things we need to do here. I'm your man until the end, whatever path you take. This looks like the... You, Revan, I don't think I'm ready. I'm your man.
Statement. As you desire.
Got something on your... Oh, that was not until many years later, to tell the truth. I spent quite some time wandering the galaxy. Why wouldn't they? I had refused my promotion to Jedi. I was a Padawan who had left the Order, nothing more. I traveled from one civilized system to the next, never staying long. I don't even think I knew what I was searching for. It wasn't as if my travels were pleasant either. There were plenty of folks who distrusted the Jedi after the war, or worse. If people weren't treating me with suspicion, they were looking at me with greed. I don't know how many thought they could make use of me for their own ends. I got so sick of the treachery and deceit. I left the civilized parts of the galaxy and headed instead for the uncivilized parts. Actually, I was on my way somewhere else when I crash-landed on Kashyyyk. The ship I was using was a rust bucket. I'd taken some damage passing through an unexpected asteroid field, as I recall, but I wasn't completely without some systems. I could still guide her a bit when I crashed. It wasn't what I would call the smoothest landing, especially considering I ended up smack in the depths of the Shadowlands. But I lived. Sure, why not? It seemed like an interesting enough place to spend a couple of decades exploring. That was a challenge at first. You've seen the kind of creatures that exist down there, and you miss the really big ones. I was still able to rely on the Force to keep me safe for the most part. The rest of the trick is keeping out of the way of most of the predators. Oh, that's true. Still, most of the creatures grow accustomed to me, and I to them. At least none of them ever heard of a Jedi. Oh, they did at first, oh yes. I can't say I was overly pleased to encounter a group of indigenous giant carpets either, I can assure you of that. No. I was the intruder in their land, after all. They got to trust me well enough after a couple of decades of my aid. When I could, I would assist a few young ones who would get lost in the Shadowlands or attacked unexpectedly by the wildlife. I must say, for a while there, the Wookiees actually thought I was some kind of benevolent forest god. Amusing, really. I set them straight eventually. At first, when the slavers took to hunting down lone Wookiees in the fringes of the Shadowlands, I did my best to divert them. Later, when Shundar made his deal, I didn't see any point. I wasn't here to save them from their own sad follies, after all. Nonsense. I had no idea that's what they were thinking for a long time. I just thought they were being friendly neighbors, leaving fruit and such for me. Later, when I started to understand some of their grunting, I realized they would say prayers to the Hairless One before descending into the forest. Hairless One. I used to have plenty of hair, I tell you. At any rate, it took a few bruises, but I set the record straight. I traveled to Rookwaro and met with the chieftain in front of everyone. Freyr swatted at me just to see if I was real or not. I was real, and while it was a light swat, Wookiees are terribly strong. I was knocked out cold for a day. The Wookiees all thought it was quite funny. Not really. Kashyyyk is a place you can feel very small in. It felt good to devote my time to helping people and living simply. What can I say? I did it all for the Wookiees. The Wookiees? Well, okay, maybe I needed some time on a quiet and remote planet, but if you ever need a friend, an incredibly strong hairball isn't a bad call. I suppose I am in a way, despite the smell. For a race of gardeners, they've developed quite interestingly. You remember the alien computer, correct? Kashyyyk was meant to be an agricultural planet. The Wookiees were made for a reason, or at least that's what I'm thinking. But I'm an old man who's had a long time to develop that opinion, so don't argue with me. At any rate, we should be moving along, don't you think? If you sat around this long in the Shadowlands, a tack would eat you. Got something on your mind? It's a ship. To be more specific, it's your ship. You tell me, and that's about all I got to say about that. Now, let's get going. Oh, I get it.
You made it. Several Jedi have already gone ahead into the Starforge. We have to strike while we still have the element of surprise. If we don't stop Bastila from using her battle meditation, the entire Republic fleet will be wiped out! Come on, before they... Damn! So much for catching them unprepared. We'll deal with these Sith. You get into the Starforge and find Bastila. Hurry!
Yes?
What?
Sure. The Sith will want to cut off our escape. We'll stay here and the Sith will want to cut off our escape. The Sith will want to cut off our escape.
We don't want the Sith to cut off our... We don't want the Sith to cut off our escape route. We'll stay here and hold this docking bay. You get in there and find back.
Uh-huh.
Yes?
Lord Malak, a team of Jedi have penetrated our defenses. Their fighters have landed on the Starforge.
This is not unexpected. The Jedi are formidable opponents. Send the Starforge's battle droids to deal with them.
Lord Malak, forgive me, but how can mere droids be a match for the Jedi?
You underestimate the power of the Starforge's droid army. Dispatch the droids.
Of course, Lord Malak. The Jedi have invaded the Starforge. Destroy them. Destroy them all.
Ready.
Yes? What?
Yes?
Uh-huh.
Yes?
That hurt, I guess.
Sure.
Yes?
Uh-huh. What?
More victims for us to slaughter.
Got something on your... Oh, I get it.
Yes, what's on your mind? I don't really know much. You got it.
Got something on your... No more than you. Get going. Oh, I get it.